Soon everyone returned to Yangqiu City. Limu was carried in the middle. You brat, you even forgot about us? But you're really lucky. Well, anyway, just glad you're alive. Let's go. Coming back to life is a big deal. We should have a good drink tonight. Li Si said, bury your mat for 50 coins each. You'd better pay up early. Limu felt embarrassed, but I don't remember if I have any money left. Zhang Shan said, it's okay. We are co-workers. I will remind you when the salary is paid. It should be paid in a few days. Let's talk about the money later. Let's go have a drink first. In a dark and secluded forest, a group of foxes is playing and frolicking. The flower fox that was saved by Limu during the day reported the incident to the leader. The leader was puzzled, asking, you fell into a hunter's trap, and then a human noble rescued you? The flower fox nodded. He freed me from the animal trap and told me to be careful in the future. The leader sighed deeply. This is troublesome. Saving a life is indeed a great act of kindness. However, on the other hand, Limu lay on his own bed with a look of spring in his heart, a smile on his face. He kept his eyes tightly closed. He tried hard to remember the appearance of those bunny girls from his past life in his mind. He tried hard to imagine those enticing figures, doing the one-handed move that everyone loves. Unfortunately, he could only maintain it for 2 minutes. Limu then reluctantly put down his hand. He sighed in frustration. It seems like it's still not good enough. Can't I even have the only pleasure of being a man? After a long while, he stood up and poured himself a cup of tea. He did this to calm down. It has been 3 days. That aspect is still not working. It seems like I have to go to a medical center for a checkup. At this moment, a pleasant voice came from outside the door. Startled, Limu sprayed the tea in his mouth all at once. He quickly put on his shirt. He kept muttering to himself, why did leader come at this time? Limu opened the door and was about to speak when he saw Li Qing taking out a bag of silver. This is 2 months' salary. The extra month is compensation for you. Limu joyfully accepted it. But before he could say thank you, the door was slammed shut by Li Qing. Limu stood still in a daze. In his heart, he had already imagined Li Qing in 18 different poses. The next day arrived in the blink of an eye. Limu walked out of the medical hall with an anxious expression on his face. The customer official wanted to see the launch? I don't know if the medicine from this medical hall can solve that problem. At this time, a shout caught Limu's attention. May the goddess of fertility bless us with a child. An old Taoist pinched a talisman paper in his hand. The talisman paper was abruptly ignited and then quickly inserted into the teacup by the old Taoist. Immediately, he handed the water cup to the lady in front of him. As long as you follow what the old man said, drink this cup of talisman water, and you will be able to have a child. The surrounding people looked puzzled, but they felt like it seemed quite reliable. At this moment, the old Taoist squinted slightly, noticed Limu in the crowd. Then he coughed twice. Everyone, let's end here for today. I'm closing my stall, the old Taoist said. The people dispersed after hearing this, right? Since there was no show to watch, everyone went home. Limu also sighed. Just a trickster in the Jianghu. Boring. But suddenly, a strong and powerful hand gripped him. Limu looked at the old Taoist with a displeased expression. Do you have something to ask, Taoist? The old Taoist shook his head. No, no, no. It's not me who has something, it's you. Limu was speechless. Could it be that my forehead turning black will bring a disaster of bloodshed soon? But the old Taoist continued to shake his head. Then he leaned closer to Limu, with a ferocious look on his face, and said, your 3 Hun may be present, but your 7 Pu are all lost. Without a chance, you will meet your end within half a year. Limu slapped the servant, word on his chest, and shouted angrily, do you see this? Keep spouting nonsense and deceiving others, and I will kill you. The Taoist saw Limu was about to leave and said leisurely, life and death are destined, wealth and honor are in the hands of fate. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. But today, let me give you a clue. It might bring you a glimmer of hope. Would you think it unreasonable to charge you 800 coins for this? Limu couldn't stand it and retorted again. I think you're crazy about money. I would pay you 8 coins just for those few words. But before he could finish his sentence, he realized that his wallet was missing. In an instant, he almost understood who was behind it. Limu stepped forward, intending to teach this old Taoist a lesson. But just at the moment of contact with him, the old Taoist suddenly disappeared. Limu stood frozen in place. His mind was blank at this moment. He maintained this posture for a long, long time, until he figured it all out. Limu wailed, Taoist, immortal, master, please come back. I believe in you. Old immortal, I truly believe in you. Please explain clearly before you leave. At this moment, Li Qing walked over. Limu, what are you doing here? Limu said aggrievedly, I have no money now, and I'm nearly destitute. Li Qing said speechlessly, didn't I just give you your salary last night? How did you run out of money again? Limu immediately recounted everything that had just happened. Of course, he conveniently skipped the part about going to the doctor for medication. Limu asked, do people really have the 3 hun and 7 per? Li Qing nodded, yes, they do. But you are not a cultivator. Why do you ask about these things? Limu felt a bit embarrassed under her gaze. She said haltingly, I'm just curious. What happens if 7 pu is lost? When she didn't respond, Limu poked his nose and asked again, Leader, are you looking at my 7 per? Li Qing shook his head. Unfortunately, my cultivation is not enough. I can't see it clearly. Limu sighed at the words, seeming to resign himself. But at this moment, Li Qing said, however, 7 per is related to the physical and spiritual aspects. If one truly loses the 7 pu, they will naturally differ from ordinary people. Humans have 7 pu, each with its own role. The 7 pu are divided into Shirgo, Fushi, Feidu, Tunze, Kain, Chuhui, and Xiufei. Shirgo pu mainly responsible for perception, without it, prone to drowsiness. Fushi pu mainly responsible for perception and consciousness, without it, prone to being in a daze. Tunze pu mainly responsible for eliminating toxins, without it, prone to becoming ill. Feidu pu mainly responsible for sleep, without it, prone to insomnia. Chuhui pu is mainly responsible for metabolism, without it, unable to metabolize. Xiufei pu is mainly responsible for breathing, without it, breathing is not smooth. As for Kain, mainly responsible for the reproductive system. Li Qing weakly asked, can you still get up in the morning? Limu scratched his head. I really haven't been sleeping well lately. I can only get up around noon, Li Qing said embarrassingly. I mean, that. Limu suddenly seemed to understand. His gaze shifted downwards. Cold sweat suddenly broke out on his face. No way. His body swayed for a moment. Li Qing hurried forward to support him. What's wrong with you? Limu exclaimed in fear. My 7 pu is really gone. Leader, do you think I still have a chance? Li Qing can't believe it. How is this possible? Could it be that you are not separating from the pu normally, but under the influence of evil? Otherwise, how could 7 pu disappear so quickly? As she spoke, she reached into her arms to search. 7 pu was completely lost. Evil energy easily enters the body. This talisman can protect you from evil spirits. You must carry it with you at all times. I'll go back to the yamen to consult the classics. You wait for me at home. Limu nodded touched. The leader really doesn't know how to thank you. Actually, I have more than one problem right now. Leader, you help others to the end. Can you? But Li Qing turned and left before finishing speaking. Limu watched the figure moving away into the distance, urgently sweating and shouting, Leader, could you lend me some money? However, in the end, Limu was unable to get his wish. We are all poor. How could there be money to lend him? Limu muttered to himself as he walked. Now even life is at stake. No money left either. Looks like I have to borrow from someone else. Unexpectedly, he bumped into Zhang Shanlisi while lost in thought. Limu thought to himself, I must borrow money from them today. Zhang Shanlisi also had the same idea. I must make this kid repay the money today, he thought. The three embraced each other warmly. However, each of them had hidden motives. They were all very cunning and deceitful. Lisi said, I saw you with the leader just now. You're usually so afraid of her. How did you suddenly become so bold? Did she give you a pay raise? Zhang San replied, it's the 10 coins from a few days ago and the straw mat. Let's consider it as a favor between brothers, and I won't charge you interest. Limu chuckled and said, I was just about to talk to you guys about this. I accidentally had my 2-month salary stolen. Can you lend me some money again? I'll pay you back next month when I receive my salary. Zhang Shanlisi frowned. Then he turned around and left. However, when they left, they still felt guilty and left a few pieces of broken silver for Limu. Limu felt warm in his heart. They were indeed good brothers. Limu, who is not well off, can only eat some watery porridge and pickles when he returns home. Although they have borrowed 2 taels of silver from Zhang, Shan, and Li, it can only last for up to a month at most. Continuing like this is not a solution. How can I, a time traveler, end up in such a miserable situation? Suddenly Limu realized something. Yeah, I'm a time traveler. As the saying goes, the most profitable methods are all written in the penal code. Let me see if there are any loopholes to exploit. I want to do some business and make some money. He found the long-lost Zhou Nation Code of Laws from the bookshelf, and then he read it under the candlelight. All Zhou Nation officials and servants, regardless of rank, are not allowed to engage in business. Limu's face turned dark immediately followed by a series of foul language that was not meant to be repeated, coming out of his thatched hut. Unconsciously, it was already light out. Limu wandered around this small county town, but he didn't find any money-making opportunities. At this time, 2 people attracted Limu's attention. The old man said angrily, Just a few lines written in a month. Can we still eat this meal? The scholar begged. Please give me more time. Writing a book depends on inspiration. But the old man didn't care about your inspiring nonsense. I'll give you 3 more days. If you can't produce it in 3 days, get ready to pay up. Limu thought for a moment. Writing a book is a good way out. However, I need to do some research on what genres are popular now.